Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and welcome to the summary for the day of 540 for the 17th of August. And do check below, check your subscription if you are subscribed, because sometimes you get unsubscribed by our enemies without you knowing. So do give it a check, and if you see that it's not subscribed, subscribe and press the like button. Let's start off with the latest news. Ukraine have launched a surface drone strike against the Russian Black Sea Fleet, 237 kilometers southwest of Sevastopol. Forgot to put KM. And so according to the Russian Defense Ministry, they reported that the Ukrainians sent an uncrewed boat to attack the ships of the Black Sea Fleet, and so they were destroyed by fire, so probably machine guns, most likely. And then the ships involved are the Pritlivy and the Vasily Bykov. So the surface drone obviously did not hit the ships, because if they did, we wouldn't have this report. The Russians will be covering up maintenance problem, the disrepair, accident, something like that. So moving on to, let's go to the Southern Front. We do not have any information of any updates regarding the Southern Front at Kherson or at the Antonovsky Bridge. The Ukrainians are still there. The Russians have no idea what to do about them. And moving on to the Zaporizhzhia Front. This is Zaporizhzhia. At the Zaporizhzhia Front, this for those that are new, this entire area, this entire line is the Zaporizhzhia Front. At the Zaporizhzhia Front, there's nothing over at the Kreminna sector. We still have Ukrainian forces trying to travel to Pyatikaki to no avail. Over at the Orkiv sector, we have fighting continuing at Robotyne. According to multiple sources of information, Robotyne is having very heavy fighting. The Russian Defense Ministry reportedly are defending against the 46th Air Mobile Brigade close to Robotyne. Surya Maps reported that the Ukrainian forces have entered the town, but the Ukrainians are putting heavy artillery on the Russian forces, which forced the Russian forces to withdraw southwards. However, this also provokes the Russians to fire artillery on the Ukrainian side, and this caused a lot of casualties. The battle is still not over, it's still ongoing. And Ryba actually have a bit even more details. They say that the Ukrainians are attacking with the paratroopers, the paratroopers never dropped down from the sky. They are the 82nd Airborne and the 46th Infantry Brigade. Then they tried to attack with the 160, 170, 180 Mechanized Brigade, which are the territorial defense, if I'm not wrong. And they to break through the first line, but they did not work out. Then as they fall back, the next wave come in, which is the detachment of the 82nd Airborne with 46th and 118 Brigade as their reinforcement to push. So the 46th and 118 probably are providing mechanized and armor support, and airborne I don't think they have maybe they have no armor, but basically you can see the rolling attack. One attack failed, the other one immediately follow ups, but situation remains the same according to the pro-Russian source. Myro Shinikov, the pro-Ukrainian source, says that Robotyne is still not yet Ukrainian. There is complex battles continuing in various parts, and there's no control over the village. So this is a confirmation, and the Myro Shinikov one is actually rather recent. The information is around, let me see, maybe 5 hours to 7 hours ago, and that is the latest information, because we go into the night time, the midnight of Ukraine. So now it's around 6 to 7 a.m. Around 7 a.m. Ukraine time. So it's still early in the morning. Many people are still probably sleeping for those that are reporting on the Ukraine war. So this is the latest information. Ukraine still have not captured Robotyne. For those that have received any information that Robotyne is captured, those are fake news. Do not follow them. No, I do not know how to emphasize this more. It's important for you to clean up your information diet. get information from sources that you know they are usually correct. And there's no information that can be 100% correct, but usually they are correct and trustable. If you constantly getting information from them that just makes you happy, and but the information is wrong, what's the point? I also don't understand. So anyway, there is also fighting reported continuing towards Verbove. According to Ryba, they reported that the strongholds at Verbove has been attacked by the 82nd Airborne Brigade. So the Ukrainians continue their offensive towards Robotyne and Verbove. They are continuing trying to expand this buffer zone and this salient that they have developed. The Russians definitely have not given up at all. They are definitely fighting very strongly. Ultimately, this is the first line of defense. You do not want the enemy to break through in any way or form. So there is information of reinforcements. The 160 Mechanized Brigade and the 15th Brigade of the National Guards, as well as some electronic warfare equipment has been deployed to Malatomashka. So deployment to this area here might suggest there is a push in this direction, maybe or maybe not, because even this line over at Novosilka is actually quite strong. So the Ukrainians will have to make a judgment call. Should they continue to attack Malatomashka or down to Robotyne? Okay, I should leave these opinions later. Yeah, shouldn't have to say so much. Stick to the sources. Go into the Velyka Novosilka sector. At the Velyka Novosilka sector, fighting is reported at Pryone, continuing the fighting from yesterday. The Russian Defense Ministry reported that they are attacking Ukrainian forces near Pryone. Ryba reported that there are rifle battles in the northeastern part of Pryone. Northeastern is probably in this direction, which means the Ukrainians probably have already try to go around Pryone. They are going in this way, and there is probably attacking through the rear. Maybe that's what's happening. And so this is the Ryba reported there was reinforcement in this area here the day before. So maybe that's related. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported fighting at near Novosilka. This is Novosilka. The Russians reportedly are attacking this direction, as well as Rivnopil. The one at Rivnopil is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry. They say, but this is not an attack per se. Like, they are not advancing. They are more like they are just striking at the Ukrainian forces near Rivnopil. Over at the Staromayoske, we have fighting reported at Staromayoske. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, the same thing. It's more positional, more tactical. It's not meant to be an assault. It's not an advance. There is reinforcement reported at Makarivka. Sorry, I plotted this in the wrong place. How did I miss this? Sorry, and Makarivka, and so over at Uruzhaine, we still have fighting reported Uruzhaine. According to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Ukrainian Defense Ministry say that there is a Russian attack at the Uruzhaine area. The Vostok group of forces also mentioned similar thing, but mostly it's more like fire attack, which means tactical. It's not an advance, it's not an offensive, it's more like they're just firing at the Ukrainian troops. However, the main type seems to be the Ukrainians are attacking south of Uruzhaine. I think that's most likely the situation, where they reported that the Ukrainian Marines are attacking Zaporizhzhia, and or the Russian name Vazhetnoye Zelenia. And so apparently these are several assault groups totaling only 25 people. So it doesn't sound like a lot. So they are attacking towards Zaporizhzhia. The front line have also aligned largely with the river. So that's the situation. So when we have these reports of attack in the area of Uruzhaine, it might be the Russians just attacking just on the outskirts of Zaporizhzhia. Okay, so there is a concentration of Ukrainian forces being reported by the pro Russian source. They say that 4 new assault groups of the 37th Brigade of the Ukrainian Marines are concentrated at Robotyne. It looks like they are preparing for a new push, a concerted push towards Zaporizhzhia. The Ukrainians also try to expand their buffer zone around Robotyne, with fighting being reported east of Robotyne, according to SYTREP maps. And that, however, while the mapping seems to all be pretty straight, and then I think the SYTREP maps is more like something like this. There is geolocation, however, by Dnipro OC. This is the pro-Ukrainian source that geolocated and fighting in this area here, which then kind of negated the mapping by Ryba and Deep State UA. Both Ryba and Deep State UA seems to be a more straight. So now with this geolocation, it might be actually more Russians positioning over on the eastern part of Robotyne. But we shall continue to monitor and see how this goes. And that's all from the Velyka Novosilka sector. Moving into the Donetsk Front. So Donetsk Front is actually pretty long. It's actually the full Donetsk Front includes all the way from Bakhmut Front, New York Front, Avdiivka Front, and what I normally call now the Donetsk Front. This is actually the entire Donetsk Front. However, I have broken it up. So usually when I report, this is the Donetsk Front, this is the Avdiivka Front, New York Front, and Bakhmut Front for easy identification. So over at this remaining of the Donetsk Front, we still have fighting being reported at Velyka and Krasnohorivka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. They say that the Russians are continuing their attack in this direction. However, the Russian Defense Ministry reported fighting at Svatove. So this is Svatove, which means that Ukrainians are actually attacking as well. So likelihood is just Ukrainians attacking, but these are all very, very heavily entrenched regions. So I don't expect much from this area here. Over at the Avdiivka Front, this is Avdiivka, the Avdiivka city. This is the fortress city of Avdiivka. And in the northern part of this front, there is fighting reported at Krasnohorivka. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, they reported that the Ukrainians are attacking Krasnohorivka, but not much details coming out from this area here. However, we do have interesting information coming from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. They reported fighting near Kreminna. This is Kreminna. To fight near Kreminna is quite interesting statement, but the Ukrainian Defense Ministry did this quite a number of times before last time. It makes people think that the Russians have some kind of salient, but it's not the case. They just simply randomly pick a spot. The fighting is probably still around this area here. And moving away from the Avdiivka Front, we have nothing at the New York Front, into the Bakhmut Front. At the Bakhmut Front, this is Bakhmut City, the infamous, Artyomovsk like Bakhmut Front. Anyway, over at the southern flank, we have fighting being reported towards Belahora, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, with the Russians attacking in the area of Belahora, which is definitely not in the area of Belahora. No, it's not. They just, like I said, this particular writer, the writer of this report, because I report on a daily basis, I can identify there's a few writers for this Ukrainian SITREPs. And the Ukrainian SITREP, I think there's around 3 to 4 writers. There's one that will be very nice. He always writes about the correct location with direction. There's another one that don't, but is still relatively accurate. There's another one which would just randomly pick locations, which is this one. This particular writer, the fighting is nowhere close to Belahora. It's around Zelenopilia or Kreminna, and then he will say Belahora. This guy should get sacked. No, then anyway, there is a Ukrainian attack near Kreminna, according to Remelin, the pro-Russian source. And however, it looks like they did not break through. So the Russian lines managed to hold. So the Russians are attacking in this direction. So no, not sure what is it like entirely, because these two areas is actually very, very close. Bye bye. Well, my mom just went out. So moving on, in the northern flank of the Bakhmut Front, that really confused me. It's like, suddenly, okay. Anyway, the at Bodanivka, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported the Russians are attacking Bodanivka again, which I don't think that's the case. It's probably just skirmishes at the front line between the two sides. I don't think it's any. It's not actually offensive operations at Bodanivka. There is, however, fighting reported at Zalynyansk. According to the Russian Defense Ministry and Ryba, they reported that the Ukrainians with armored vehicles attacked Russian positions at Zalynyansk, and from the direction of Minkivka or Minkovka. So Minkivka is here. So the alleged attack direction is in this direction, and according to Ryba, they say that these are the 1st Airborne Brigade Wolves. I think this might be the Russians, the Russian 1st Airborne Brigade, the Wolves. Standing there, support of other units, cut off the vehicles from the infantry, fire and destroy some of them. So yeah, this all this information is pointless. It's not important. Yeah, those are just chest thumping. And that's all from the Bakhmut Front. So the Ukrainians are attacking this direction, the Russians this direction, Russian, Ukrainian. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense if you look at this. There is information of concentration of forces at Konstantinivka. According to Ryba, the Ukrainians are accumulating forces in this area here, and it looks like they might want to prepare for another major push for Klishchiivka. So because there's not much fighting at Klishchiivka, there is fighting, but no, it's very minimal. It's probably very positional. There is no active assault, and looks like the Ukrainian assault forces has been spent, and now they are regrouping, and hopefully try another time. Okay. So before I forget, Russia strikes a Mezhova train station. This information coming from the Russian Defense Ministry. Do check out the DPA's Telegram channel. I have posted the video there as well as and also from all the information from DPA. You can check it out at the DPA's Telegram channel, and links in the description below. And moving on, let's see if I missed anything. Okay, into the Siversk Front. This is Siversk. At the Siversk Front, we have fighting reported south of Robotyne. So Robotyne is here. This is Robotyne. The Russians are attacking and trying to secure the front line around Robotyne. So they attack from Krasnopolivka and managed to capture this area here. But we did kind of map this already. So anyway, yeah, that's what happened. This is reported by Surya Maps and Remlin 21. Remlin is a pro-Russian source, so they managed to capture some Ukrainian positions, and that's about it. So further north, we have fighting reported at Bilohorivka. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported the Russians conducted offensive operation in the area of Bilohorivka, most likely from the industrial zone. Yeah, attacking inwards. So, and yeah, so that's it from the Siversk Front. Moving into the, so just in case Siversk Front is like this Siversk Front. Moving into the Kreminna Front. This is Kreminna, and the Kreminna Front go all the way from this is Kreminna Front. So at the Kreminna Front, there is fighting reported near Kuzmine. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, the 42nd Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainians attacked the center group of forces. Did not go anywhere, and that's about it, I think. Yeah, that's about it from the Kreminna Front. So the fighting seems to have died down quite a lot. And moving on to the Svatove Front. Svatove Front front line is something around like that. This is the Svatove Front. At the Svatove Front, we only have fighting being reported around this area here between Novosilka, which is here, and SEMI-ENCIRCLED. The Russians are reportedly attacking SEMI-ENCIRCLED from two different directions, according to Remelin. Remelin, in his very sketching of the mapping, shows that the Russians are attacking two directions in this way. And that's about it. That's all. No, it's just a one sentence with this map that he drew himself. And so we shall continue to monitor to see whether if this is a sustained operation or it's just a skirmish or misinformation. The Ukrainians are still trying to recapture positions at Novosilka. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, there was some Ukrainian attack at Novosilka. So that's about it. The Russians are holding the line here. And yeah, that's about it for this area. Nothing really much to talk about. Moving into the Kupyansk Front. At the Kupyansk Front, this is Kupyansk. Kupyansk Front actually is all the way. This is Kupyansk Front. At the Kupyansk Front, the Russian Kupyansk offensive continue in the area of SYNKIVKA and Vyshana. The fighting, so you can see these are all not new. So the fighting is mainly around this area only. Russian continues their fighting at SYNKIVKA, and according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, Syria Maps also updated their mapping, and I can show you in a while. And Ryba reported that the Russian forces occupied two more strongholds southwest of Vyshana, as well as tactical positions around SYNKIVKA. So around this is SYNKIVKA. The Russian forces continue to push, and they managed to capture the cross junction. There's this junction over here. This junction, the Russians have seemingly captured it after attacking and capturing more Ukrainian positions. And according to the pro-Russian side, they say that they are now encircling SYNKIVKA in a semicircle. So the Ukrainian forces apparently, wrong color, apparently is still at SYNKIVKA. The rumors of the withdrawal seems to be fake. Yesterday I mentioned about there's this preliminary reports from SYNKIVKA, as per shared by Ryba. So they say that they have some preliminary information that the Ukrainians left SYNKIVKA. It seems to be not accurate because the fighting is still ongoing over at SYNKIVKA. So probably they got bad intel, Ryba. And over at the Vyshana region, the front line around here, there is still fighting in this area here. The Russian Defense Ministry, Syria Maps, and Ryba all reported about this. So Zapat Group of Forces also mentioned that they captured two strongholds and two observation posts. And the Ukrainians are, however, not sitting back, and they are counter-attacking the Russian offensive. According to the Zapat Group of Forces, they said that the Ukrainians have launched 5 different counter-attacks by the units of the 14th Separate Mechanized, 95th Separate Air Assault. And however, this did not work out. The Russians are still holding the line, and they are still making the push against the Ukrainians. And that's it from the Kupyansk Front. That's it from the summary for the day of 540 for the 17th of August. Some conclusion or DPA note. All these surface drone attacks are not going to do much. I just want to say the Ukrainians are investing in this. I mean, they have to, you have to drive or keep the Russian fleet away. But such attack is mainly not going to do a lot. Maybe it's mostly PR. You're unlikely to sink the entire Black Sea fleet with just suicide drones, because if you can, then nobody will have a navy in today's day and age. The situation at Robotyne continues to be very tricky. As you can see from the report just now, as per reported by Ryba, the Ukrainian forces launched rolling attacks, as I have been telling you these few days. They have the 116, 117, 118, the territorial defense are pushing forward. If I'm not wrong, they are the territorial defense. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Okay? So they are pushing forward and engage the Russian forces. Then they are trying to tire out the Russian first line of defenses, as in the day. I'm not talking about the strategic purpose. I'm talking about like within Robotyne, the defense line. They are trying to engage them, exhaust their ammunition, exhaust their energy. And when this group is not meant to succeed. As they fall back, the next force push in, and the second force that is attacking is the real offensive force, which is why it's the airborne and the 46th Brigade and 118. And so this second force is the one that is supposed to punch through, because the first group has already weakened the Russian lines and or exhaust the ammunition and energy. The second one will be able to punch through more easier. But however, it seems like it has not worked out yet. It seemingly did not work out yet. At least the pro-Russian source have not mentioned that this has succeeded. But of course, even if they succeeded, they probably will not have told us. So the situation continues. The battle continues to be very fierce in this area here. We're fighting at Robotyne and towards Verbove, and the fighting continues. And it's basically the same situation as yesterday, as the Ukrainians trying to expand their zone of control around Robotyne and blow up this salient. However, it's going to be very difficult because the Russians have this defense lines, and this is the purpose of the defense lines, and there's another major one over here. So even as they try to push out, there are certain spaces that they can, but there are other places that will be extremely difficult, especially around Verbove. So yeah, so this is the situation, but they do have reinforcement at Mala Tomashka. So the 116th and 15th Brigade of the National Guards are here. With the Ukrainians building up in this area here, maybe they will attack Novosilka, maybe they will just be sent down to Robotyne, Verbove region to reinforce and continue this push. And over at the situation at Velyka Novosilka sector, fighting is getting fiercer and fiercer. It seems there's more fighting being reported in this area here. Ukraine definitely have secured Robotyne. They are pushing out, as I mentioned before, which I told you so, right? I told you so. If you have been watching the past few days, up to a week or two, I have mentioned that it is important for the Ukrainians to build up a buffer zone around the eastern part of Robotyne as well as the western part of Staromayoske, and then they'll be able to capture Zaporizhzhia. So with a pincer movement. So tentatively they are pushing directly, not at Staromayoske though. At the Staromayoske region, the Russians are holding a very, very strong line around this area here, and the Ukrainians have no idea what to do about this. The Russians are continuing attacking Ukrainian positions within Staromayoske. So the Ukrainians are mainly now focusing on Robotyne side first. They are attacking out and towards this lasagna. So hopefully they will eat this Italian food, or if not, then they can have some chicken rice. Over at this area here, on the eastern part, in the Novosilka, Novopil, Lavatne, Prione, region, this is getting very interesting because we have some pushbacks, some enhanced skirmishing. Maybe there is a grouping of Ukrainian forces in this area here. Maybe they are grouping forces in this area that actually attracted Russian fire. Maybe the Ukrainians are planning something big, which is why there is this fighting report, and probably we will see the Ukrainians attacking in this pincer movement and try to capture this buffer zone that I mentioned needed on the western part of Staromayoske. Fighting is also reported at Prione, so this might actually be related to this, so that they can have a front line that is straightened, which is why they are pushing for Prione. So this could be the reason why we are seeing all these things that is happening around this area here at the western part of Staromayoske. So it's a very interesting front to look at, I think. So, what do you think? Otherwise, I think most of the other front line is pretty pointless. This Mezhova train strike is very interesting. There is a drone footage of this missiles hitting the train at Mezhova. But the problem is as you can see, it's actually pretty far from the front line. It's around 60 kilometers on average. 60 kilometers from the front line. And I've just thought it's very interesting, the Russians can have a drone flying this deep into adversary territory, airspace, and to take the drone footage of their missile strike. I don't think I have ever seen this before in this war, that the Russians actually have a drone to verify if their missiles actually hit the target. I think this is the first time I actually see this. Have you seen other things with other such incident or instances? I don't think I have ever seen this before, so I find that very interesting. I mentioned this in the Telegram channel, so probably if you are in the Telegram channel, you probably have seen that. The Bakhmut Front is dying. We do have this concentration of forces. Most likely target is still Klishchiivka. Otherwise, yeah, I think this is just going to be Klishchiivka. So let's see how this goes. Fighting in the north is interesting. We have this push. It doesn't look like much, honestly speaking. Kreminna Front is going stale, and over at the Kupyansk Front, I mean Svatove Front, yeah, okay. The Kreminna. Yesterday we have this attack from the Russians being reported at Kreminna. Didn't go anywhere, so this is not an offensive operation, probably just positional fighting. This area is still in the northern part of Svatove Front. Novosilka, SEMI-ENCIRCLED, this is they have been doing this for months and months, so don't expect much from that. So for the pro-Russian side, I think the only thing really to watch is actually Kupyansk Front. How far can the Russians continue to push in this area here is very interesting. And while the Petropavlivka, you can see that it's actually an octopus. This town actually looks like an octopus. This is actually Petropavlivka. So I believe that when the report comes in for the first time, the fighting has reached Petropavlivka, reached the first houses. Don't get too excited. It might actually be just here. It might be actually just here. It's not gonna be. It's just gonna be like very very far away from actually the town center of Petropavlivka. So, but it is getting quite close. And SYNKIVKA is looking more and more untenable for the Ukrainian forces, as the Russian forces is continue to push southward in this direction, and they will continue to increase their salient around this area here, and then we probably will see a major push through the forest, and SYNKIVKA will be untenable. The Ukrainians will have to do this withdrawal out of SYNKIVKA. Tentatively, it looks like they have not withdrawn yet, and there is also rumors from pro-Russian sources saying that the Ukrainian forces, despite the pressure at Kupyansk Front, are not taking forces from other front line yet to reinforce Kupyansk just yet. So if you're pro-Ukrainian, then I think that might be, I don't know if it's good or bad news. It's a good news in the sense that the other fronts will not be weakened because of what is happening over at Kupyansk, but it also might mean that the Ukrainians may not have enough forces to deal with the situation at the Kupyansk. But anyway, that's it. And I also want to address there is a comment saying that because yesterday I mentioned about the Ukrainians still have a lot of reserves. And then people say that Whip Union say that there's only left with 3 brigades. But 3 brigades is still a lot. And that's just the brigades. 2 of the brigades actually have Abrams tanks, or at least supposed to have the Abrams tanks, and they are not ready because the Abrams are not here yet. And then we have Leopard 1s. The Leopard 1s are not part of the because there was this Pentagon League, right? In the Pentagon League, there was around 9 or 12 brigades, offensive brigades that is trained by the Ukrainian side, by the NATO side. there is 4 brigades that is not that was trained by the Ukrainian side that is not part of that list. So that those are probably already in operation, in fighting. And then we still have the Leopard 1s, and these Leopard 1s are currently being refurbished and will be sent to Ukraine. I believe there might be a few already in Ukraine. The thing is, they still need to build up, and definitely they will already have the reserve, the people to fill in all these positions, and they're probably all in the western part of Ukraine. So when I say manpower, I'm not saying that they are going to be able to throw more forces into the front line, but they are not ready. A lot of these troops are probably earmarked for these new brigades that is supposedly going to be the part of the new spring offensive for next year. So because there is all this talk about the Ukrainians are really looking forward into the next offensive, which is the spring offensive. So yeah, so probably we're going to see the Abrams and the Leopard 1s for that offensive. So but this offensive is if the current Challenger, the brigade with the Challenger tanks are all wiped out or totally grind down to the point where it's combat ineffective, then yeah, that's probably pretty much the end of this counter offensive, maybe. So anyway, thank you for watching, and do press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next update.